Hello everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. This is going to be a short video on introducing .NET MAUI class library. I hope you've been using .NET MAUI app to create applications. Now you see, when you want to create a new project, we have the following options here. We have the first one, .NET MAUI app. That is what we use to create an application. .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. That is when you want to combine, you want to turn your Blazor application into a web app, or you want to create an app whereby you're going to have a window or Android version, and also you want to have a website. Then you go in for .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. But the last guide over there is .NET MAUI class library. What do we use library for? So this can be used to contain services. Also, you can use to contain or control views, whereby you can link the views or this library to your project. So if you ever thought of creating a project and whereby you want to reuse the project in another project that you are doing. Example could be an alert, display an alert, display message. You can create that as a project and as a shared or class library project. Now you can use in a separate or multiple project because its function is to display message. So you need not to create an alert all the time. You can create it at once in a class library, and you can be adding it to your project to display the message for you. Very simple. So let's go straight to it and let's try to learn how to use .NET MAUI class library to create services or views, or to control our views. So let's see. Now I have the project, so I'm going to close this. And we have to launch a Visual Studio 2022 or 2022 preview. Now, first of all, you have to create a MAUI app. So you click on this to create a MAUI app. Now, when you're done, then you add the class library. Now, what this class library is going to do here is we are going to let the class library display message. So instead of calling shell.current.displayAlert, you want the class library to do that. So anytime that you want to display message, you don't have to write shell.current.displayAlert. You rather call the class library that we have created or we have added to our project. Then you pass in the message string, then off you go. That is exactly what we want to do. So let's first quick. Like you see from here, I have Solution Explorer. Now, if you check, I have my project over here, and that's a library. So you create your project, then you add a library. Now, how do you add a library? When you create your project, right click on the solution and now go to add new project. So you click on add, then you go to new project. Now this new project, you're not going to select MAUI app. You're going to select what? There is a .NET MAUI class library. So you click on it, and I click on next, and I click on next to finish. You give it a name, and I click on next to finish it up. So you're going to have two projects, as you can see from here, an application and a library. Now this library contains the same platforms as you can see from this project. We have the Android, iOS, Mac Catalyst, Tizen, and Windows. So what we're going to do here is let's create our alert service here. Okay, so right click on the shared project, and now let's click on add. Then let's create a folder here. Now this folder, we're going to name it as an alert. So let's say alert service. So alert services. Now this alert services, let's right click on this, and now let's add an interface. So since it's just a simple one, you want to create an interface and you have the same implementation. So let's say iAlert. Okay, so this is iAlert. Remember that there's an interface, so let's turn here to be public so we can have it access everywhere. We can close all this because we don't need them for now. And so with this, let's create our void, and maybe you can say display message. Okay, so this display message, that is what you want to do. So this is supposed to be in the middle, so it should have been here. Okay, so you want to pass in only, let's say, message. Okay, and we can still pass in title, so string. You can pass in title too. So we have these two parameters. That is what this method is going to need. Now let's create the implementation here. So public class, then let's say alert service is going to inherit from alert. So control period. Now let's implement the interface for this. So in here we can specify. Okay, so here we can specify in case maybe it's Android, you want to display this. In case it is Windows, you want to display this. Okay, so let's try that and see. So let's use this. Then we say if, then we can pass in Windows. So here it means when it is Windows app, this is what's going to display. Then we can have else, or we can have else if, or let's say else. Okay, then we're gonna have the next one. Then we're gonna have and if. So in here, that is what we're gonna do. Let's have shell dot current dot display alert. Then we're gonna have our title. We're gonna have our message. Then we're gonna have our button as okay. Okay, so we're gonna pass in the title here, and we're gonna pass in the message here. So let's say if it is Windows, we can pass in, you can decide to specify the title here. So let's say, so instead of passing the title, we can decide to take off this title. Okay, then let's take off this title too. And now let's set the title over here. So we can say string title is equal to null. Then in here, we can say title is equal to, this is Windows. So let's set this title to Windows. And now here, okay, so let's set this to string.empty. So string.empty. Now this, so title here, it is Windows. Now you can just grab this and we can paste this over here. Else, then here is going to be, let's say, Android. Okay, or here we can also specify, if you like, you can also clear this like, you can clear this over here. So once I have the opening if, you can close it over here. Then in here you can also specify if, so if Android, you're still going to have the Android. Then you're going to have and if over here. So you can have and if like this. So if it is Android, this block code is going to execute. If it is Windows, this block code is going to execute. And you can also have one more. If it is maybe a Mac or iOS, you can just grab this and you can still paste this here. And now instead of this Android, you can say if it is iOS, then this is going to execute. So you're going to have this as iOS, then here is Android, and here it is Windows. Okay, so let's see. Now the reason why, as you can see from here, we have Windows, Android, and iOS. We have if and we have the end if over here. So we're going to specify it with the following, that is the platform. Take note. So this just a method or service in our shared project that we want to use. That's a class library. Now there are two ways to use this. Now you could publish this as a NuGet package. Then anybody who wants to use it has to inject this into the constructor of the view model, register it, and now it's good to go. But let's say we are going to use ourselves. How are we going to do it? Let's see. So we have our interface and implementation over here. We call this display message. You pass in with this message string, then we're going to display this. Let's go to Solution Explorer. Now in here, our class library, so let's add it. Click on the project, right click on dependencies, and now click on add project reference. Now make sure it is selected, so click on OK. Now you have the project added. Okay, so what you have to do here is you have to install NuGet package for this project. That is the community toolkit.mvvm, because we want to use the MVVM architecture, so we have to install that. So right click on the dependencies here, and now you can go to manage NuGet packages, and you want to install community.toolkit. So as you can see from here, click on the browse tab and now install that community toolkit. So you have to install this package. Okay, so that is it, community toolkit.mvvm. Install that package to the application. So once you are done with it, then we can create our view model here. So let's right click on the project, and we're going to create a view model. And this view model is going to inherit from the object, observable object. So click on add. Then let's add a new class. So here we're going to say it is main page view model. The reason why we are naming it main page view model here, it is we are creating this view model for the main page XML. So that's why we are renaming it like that. Okay, so this view model, to make it work, let's make these changes. This model has to inherit from observable object, and that is the package that we installed. So this must be public partial because it's a part of a class. Then let's create a method in. So we say void, and now let's say show message. That is a method. Now this show message, we can pass in a string like this. Okay, or so we pass in a string, or this is what we can do without passing in string. We can still write show message. We open a bracket over here. Now what you have to do here is let's pass in this as relay command. So this is a source command generator, which is going to generate a command for us. So we pass in this relay command. Then we have to inject also the shared project or the class library that we have created. So how do we do this? Let's see. Now in here we can actually create a constructor here. So control period, let's generate a constructor. Now with this constructor, we can now inject the alert interface. Then here control period. Now let's inject this interface here so we can actually use the service in. So create an assigned field. Now you have this alert. So when it comes to this body, we can say alert dot. Then you're going to have a method that display message. So the display message, we need to pass in only message. So let's say hello developer. That is the message that we are passing in. So we need not to write shell.alert anymore. We have that as a class library, so we just have to call the method, inject it, and now start using. Okay. Now let's see. So once you're done with it, the next thing to do here is to inject this view model into this page, the page that you want to use. So let's grab this, the name here, and now the page here. Let's go for its code behind file. That is the main page XML.cs. That's the code behind file. Now inside this constructor too, let's paste this and let's create an object as, let's say, view model. And here we can now bind context. So you say binding context. So binding context. So binding, let's do it well. So binding context, and that is this, equal to view model. So this is equal to view model. Okay, so we are binding this context up to the view model that we have created. All right, so once you have this, what is the next thing to do? We have to now register this view model, and also we have to register the class library that we have included into our project. So we do that in the maui.program.cs. So here, so first of all, let's builder.services.add. It has to be a singleton because you want to create a copy and it has to be used for the entire thing. So here, the first thing is we register the main page. Then we use the same builder.services.add singleton and register the view model. So main page view model. Now when we are done, we have to also register the class library, and that is the add singleton also. And this singleton is going to be I alert. Remember the name is an I alert. And now in here, we have to pass in E, which marks to new. Then is it an alert service? So alert service. Then we close it. So we are creating an instance of this. So you call the interface. You want to create an instance of this alert service and add. And this alert interface contains the method, whereby the service here contains the definition. Okay. So when you call like this, you're going to have access to everything over there. Now, one thing that you have to do here is let's go into the page and add a button and also make a reference. So this is our main page.xml, that's the UI. And now here we have to add, and as you can see from here, I have an XLMS, that's the XML namespace, view model, and we're using this class library. Data type that we are passing here is this view model that we created here, and we can have access to this main page view model. So when we are done, let's add a button here. So this is button. Now this button, let's set text to display alert. Then let's have command. Then we're going to have binding. And this binding, we're going to have show message command, and that is it. So we are done. Let's run this application and see. So click on this to get it run. All right, so it is ready now. Now let's click on this button and see what's going to happen. So I'm going to click on this as a display alert. Now this is Windows, so I must have a window tab. So click on it. Now you see we have Windows and Hello Developer. Okay, so that is it. Now you see we are using this class library. So our alert function, it is found in the library. We have just injected it or added to the project, and now we are using it. So in case I want to share this, just have to simply go to Solution Explorer. Now on the library over here, right click on the library and now click on Publish. So when I click on this Publish, because I'm in the debugging mode, that is why. So if I click on this Publish, you're going to have a NuGet package and you can just share to people globally. So you see, it's very simple. Now let's run it under the Android tab to also see if you're going to give us now you know that this is giving us a window. So let's see if Android is going to give us Android or not. So I'm going to close this. Then you're going to select Android over here. So from this, you're going to choose this emulator 6.0, and I'm going to run this. So let's wait while it is starting the emulator. Then we see if we're going to have the other side working as well. All right, so it is ready now. Let's click on the button and see. Yeah, you can see we have Android. So the first one here, that's the window one, is the Windows, and now we have the Android over here. All right, so that is a way to create a simple library project. That is the .NET MAUI class library project, and that's a way to add it, call the method in it, and also make it function. Yeah. So this is just the basics one. You can actually add more function to it, and I'm sure with this you can actually implement it and you move on with it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, and hopefully I'm going to catch you up in the next video. We'll talk about different things together, which also going to help us in our app development environment.